Good to see you, James. Let me know if you can hear the audio. Up early, yeah, shouts to you, bro. This is the waking time usually for me. Loud and clear, love it, love it, love it. We got the, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that fucking thing from Lord of the Rings where that girl gives Frodo the thing when she's on the boat. And then he uses it with the spider. That's this. Lamp of Destiny. It's not that early, man. It's like 6 o'clock, 6:15. It's still dark here, though. We're getting into winter, man. Cheers from Argentina. Shouts to you. Good to see you. How's the body? The body's amazing, man. The body's amazing. I'm feeling plump. I'm feeling fed. I'm feeling not that hungry. I'm feeling good, man. I would say I'm pretty much back to normal, bro. Like, I haven't started training on the bike yet. I'll start training next month, which is like 4 days away. But even then, that's not really. When I say training, I mean exercising with intention, other than just staying healthy. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's coming up. I'm not that excited for it. Like, I'm excited, but I'm just excited for everything, man. You know what I mean? Like, thank you, Alyssa. Good to see you. You know, like, I appreciate all of it, man. So, but I'm eager. I gotta get my fucking bike sorted. It's fucked up, man. Do I still train Olympic weightlifting? No. I don't train, bro. I mean, I'm training now, man, but I mean, like, when I was, like, my training was still really the same. I mean, it's still really the same. It's more bodybuilding, dude. We are wearing the same t-shirt. Shouts to you, Luke. I always remember your name, bro, because it looks like Cervelo, like the bike brand. Shouts to you, brother. I train more like bodybuilding, man. It's more of a discipline thing for me. Get on that sponsorship. Train, message Canyon Oz, they'll sort you. You know, bro, I actually sent an email for the first time in my life, man, to some people to try and sort out a bike. But you know what I mean? Like, I get like, I go through these phases, man. Just the mentality. I'll go like 1 minute, I'll be like, you know what? I was like, why wouldn't they give me a fucking bike? It's chump change for a company. Why not? And then the second thing is, like, you're so used to doing it by yourself, you're just like, you get into this like, no, I don't care. Like, I'm ready to ride a tricycle if I have to, you know? So it would make it a lot easier, bro, just because, you know, I work on that bike. And I don't think some of these bikes are meant for that distance. Like, I know, you know, they're not shitty road bikes, but it's like, I don't know, the way I ride it, it's a bit, I don't think many people ride it like that, man. Like, that Trek's had a short half-life, but I tell you, I've ridden that. I've ridden it, man. You know? I mean, it's part-time been feeding the people of Melbourne, and then the other half was spent in the middle of nowhere. You know? So... Didn't I break some spokes? I recently just broke some spokes too, bro. I've been breaking spokes all the time. I think I need to get some sort of wheels sorted. You know, I've been breaking spokes left, right, and center. You know, broke my girlfriend's spokes, which I fixed, if you're watching, Jess. But right now I got the old giant wheel on the front, my girlfriend's wheel on the back. You know, it's a shit show of a situation, but you know, just been getting the job done. Shouts to all of you, by the way. I just had some mad cereal. I'm quite full. Shout out to you, Bradley Woodruff. People get bikes for just doing touring and giving a review, take some photos and shit. I'm sure we'll be able to get one sorted, and there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. Shouts to you, brother. You're right. What are you training most for at the moment? Well, for the last month, I've been, after the race, I've just been, I've been training. I wouldn't say getting into training. I've been progressing, low volume, real low volume. I haven't been riding my bike other than going to work, which is still like, if I'm earning a humble amount of money, man, fucking still maybe like 40 Ks a day, which is still good, man. Obviously it's on and off because it's work. But in terms of weight training, I've just been in there. I've been doing like 3 sets, man, per exercise, getting nowhere near failure, just getting that, stimulating those pathways again, just getting used to it really, and just kind of preparing myself for the upcoming training cycle, which it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but I'm just preparing for it, Even next month when I get on the bike, which is in like 6 days, I still think it'll be a few months of preparing, really. When I say preparing, I mean kind of developing the skill to be able to actually do the training. Because there's all these, to be able to do the training, I mean, you've got to have good form, and there's a lot of foundation work that needs to be there, especially when you start introducing high levels of fatigue. So, but that takes a few months, that takes a few months. So that's the first thing I'm gonna tick off my box, is making sure I'm ready to actually add the amount of work I want to do to progress. Which takes a lot of patience. It's not that sexy, it's not a sexy thing to go out there for a few hours and just not go hard, not go easy, but just work on your technique. I mean, it's not a sexy way of doing it, but I mean, I think it proves great value when you start adding, because you can handle it better. Shouts to you. Shouts to you, Mark. I appreciate it. I get a bike from my team, dude. It will happen. What team are you on, bro? Fill me in. You're like a full fucking... I didn't know you were a pro cyclist, bro. Alyssa, have you ever had a moment where you realize nothing matters to you anymore? Like shit once you cared about... Or, I mean... when you say nothing matters, I mean... You mean like everything doesn't matter? I think like all you cared about once loses its value. I mean, you wrote another question. I saw it. Where was it? Like in a good way. Oh yeah, for sure. All the time. All the time. Rarely do I feel like nothing matters. But like you said, I mean, priorities shift and things become, things don't matter no more. Shouts to you, brother. I mean, that's cool. I didn't know you were on a team. You still vegan, mate? Have you felt any difference eating the way you did now and you still against? Yes, and I don't feel any difference, bro. I mean, I feel difference, bro, but it's not just because of the diet. I mean, it's not the diet, man. It's not like I went from... I didn't go from eating KFC and sitting on the couch to eating vegetables for the first time and I thought it was a miracle. So I didn't really feel, it was more so just the shift in, it's more so just the shift in consciousness that produces, a different quality of life. Not just in term, not just the food you're eating. It's the way it shifts your beliefs and understandings of the world and the way you operate. That's where the major shift happens, especially if you were kind of physically healthy before, because you can, your body's a phenomenal machine. It can be quite healthy and function quite good eating a variety of foods, and there's thousands of people out there who perform at a fucking heinously high level who aren't vegan. More non-vegans than vegans perform better. Now, that's just the truth. Now, obviously, there's a large vegan population that perform amazing. But what I'm trying to drill into you is that your body's a phenomenal machine. For me, it wasn't so much trying to perfect this level of performance, because I just think you just get over trying to perfect this physical machine. I mean, it's fleeting to be able to do that. It was more so the shift in awareness. It was more so the shift in my beliefs that really created a different lifestyle for me, you know, which improved my quality of life. So it did improve my quality of life, but not just directly from a physical standpoint, you know. I think if you just approach it with this physical standpoint, yeah, you might stick to it. And I think, but most people I know who come at something with a physical standpoint, it evolves later. It evolves later into something much greater. Otherwise, it would just be like doing keto, or be like doing paleo, but it'd be doing like carb backloading or something. It'll be like something you stick to for like a week. Shout out to all of you in the chat, by the way. I mean, like, stuff you once worried about loses its value, then you want to focus on giving love and being healthy and cherishing shit rather than focus on material and early things. I mean, like, stuff you once worried about loses its value, that you want to focus on prominent. I think we're on the same page. I'm trying to understand. It just sounds like you have your priorities sorted, really. I'm not worried about... Number one, I don't get worried about anything losing its value. I mean, a lot of stuff that I used to value lost its value, but I wasn't worried about it when it did. I mean, I try and just always hold myself to at least practice valuing the things that I know at this core of it really the important stuff, you know, so I just check that with myself all the time. What to do with gas stations that are vegan? Well, there's stuff like hot chips. I mean, people are going to say that's debatable. I mean, if you're in the UK, you call them crisps. Sometimes there's sandwiches, sometimes there's fruit. It really depends on the gas station. If you're in the middle of nowhere, sometimes you're literally limited just to drinks, some Oreos if they have them, and that's really about it, you know. But if you're at a gas station that's got some stuff, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff. They've got peanuts, they've got fruit, they've got a lot of bars if you're in the know-how. Skittles, I'm not really a big fan of Skittles. I know Joseph canes the Skittles, but really sweet stuff like the lollies doesn't sit well with me. At the end, I started utilising them more because I really had no appetite. Have I felt any repercussions from the Idipack? No, I was just extremely tired. I was kind of in a slump of energy for a while, but no really repercussions other than being grateful that it fucking happened. I've been working out in the gym for a year now, but with much discipline trying to work out. How was it when you first began training? Did you feel discouraged often? Okay, I've been working out in the gym for a year. Good on you. But now, with much discipline, really, trying to work on that. So, you're saying you need to work on being more disciplined? More disciplined? Clear that up before I answer the question. Are you trying to be more disciplined? Dark chocolate's great, but the problem is, like, to be able to consume dark chocolate, like, it's got great calories in it and a great amount of fat and stuff like that, but, you know, like, I love dark chocolate, and for me to consume it, I like to suck on it, I like to chew on it and suck on it. It's like a fucking process. It's something I eat naked in bed while I watch a movie or something, you know? I'm going to watch The Matrix and eat dark chocolate and suck on it. So I'm not going to be riding my bike sucking, unless I'm trying to be normal and just think, you know, I'm at dinner, at home eating dinner. But if I'm trying to power down dark chocolate, it's kind of like throwing the, you know, it's different to milk chocolate, you know what I mean? Because dark chocolate's like, it's a higher level food. Like, you need to suck on it and you need to fucking enjoy that shit, you know? I don't want to be just chewing on it down and getting down. It's just sad. I feel sad on the bike doing that. You know, because I'd be like, here I am just wasting my moment with this dark chocolate. I want to sit there and savor it. Am I worried about strength and overall health declining as age? Not really. I mean, aging, why would I be scared? It's completely natural to age. I mean, this is the suffering of life itself, is that you get old and you die, and trying to over extend your health beyond a certain age, to me, it's just, you know, it's kind of spitting in the face of human nature. So, of course, I just want to maintain the most optimal health I can, you know, for whatever given stage of life I'm at. You know, obviously that's going to look different as time goes, as you progress through your experience of life. I mean, things change and your capabilities change, but I always just want to be doing the best I can. So I'm not worried about it, though. That's just inevitable. You and the other IPR inspired me to ride more. Also, moan less when it's a tough ride. Thanks to shouts to you, W Moore. I appreciate the comment. What hip hop do you listen to at the moment? I listen to all the same shit, man. Big L, Nas, all the same shit, man. Action Bronson. I listen to a lot of shit, man. It'd be hard to go through it all. But I'm pretty sure you probably know what I listen to. Man, the sun comes up late here now. How come you're up so early? It's just when my alarm goes off. You know, I'm a moderately early sleeper and I'm an early riser. That's really my schedule. What shoes do I lift in? You know, I think I got a pair of Asics. Yeah. You know, I got weightlifting shoes, but, you know, I don't really do any weightlifting, so I don't really wear them. I would wear them if I was squatting, but, yeah. I never struggle to get up early. I've been doing it for so many years, it's just a routine. You know, there's nothing, it's so automatic. Like, I wish I could tell you something sexy about waking up, but it's just, you just wake up, eh? Like, I'm quite, you know, I'm quite relaxed when I'm in bed. So when I wake up, I'm quite awake. I'm quite awake, and you know, my alarm goes off like on a morning like today. My alarm goes off 15 minutes really before I wake up, and I do it like that because I like to talk to myself first thing in the morning. I like to, you know, I like to have a few words to myself before I wake up. You know, so I deliberately have it going off like 15 minutes before I wake up. And it's not like I'll fall back to sleep because I'm really already awake because I'm quite rested. So. I got a 600k, 11,000 meter elevation at the start of June. It's the Mike Hall Memorial. I keep an eye out. Shouts to Luke Thompson. I mean, that's a fucking 11,000 meters of elevation. That's a crazy motherfucker ride, dude. Shouts to you. Lol, does depression ever hit you physically? When it hits me, I have a hard time getting up. Well, depression physically, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, that state of mind, of course, it extends to your body. It's one and the same thing. Like, it's got its physical showings, I should say. I'm trying to think of a word for it, but really, you know, it does extend to your body. So I think when I've had times where I've felt emotionally scrambled or confused, I've definitely felt more tired, and I've definitely felt less energy, and I've definitely, and sometimes just a product, sometimes I'm spending so much energy upstairs, it's like there's only so much left in my body. Do you know what I mean? There's only so much left physically I got, you know, and I'm not really doing much. You know, sometimes when I'm trying to work it out the best I can, I mean, functioning becomes a lot harder, even though I'm not really spending that much energy physically. Any videos uploading soon? Oh, when I'm starting to get back in training next month, maybe when I'm back in training, bro. Thank you, Nate Spurs. I appreciate the comment. I appreciate the comment a lot. I hope you're well. Can you list a few, if any, dietary challenges as a vegan? There's no dietary challenges. I mean, if you're committed to doing, it's not really, there's no dietary challenges at all. Okay, maybe potentially if you don't have a big appetite, getting enough food in, but really losing weight for a month is no big deal. You'd put that shit on very quickly after. So there's no dietary challenges at all. I mean, None, I really should say. Any trip to Europe soon? Potentially, I might be going to Italy later in the year. Winter, I'm not sure when winter's in Melbourne. Maybe in like 2 or 3 months it'll be peak winter. Do I read books? I don't read books. I'm not anti-reading books. I mean, I just don't read books, so I'm not the correct person to ask on book reading. How important is cardiovascular exercise to your mental health? What is your physiological? What is your philosophical perspective on movement and its evolutionary significance? Fucking, it's a sexy wordedly. That's a question and a half. Shouts to you. It's important to move. It's important. It's just very, I just think simply, without trying to answer the question in a very mystical fucking sense, the body is the vessel in which you encapsulate and you move through life in. It's like a fucking car, and you're like inside being the driver. And, personally, when I drive a car, I like it to be extremely responsive. And if I want to go left, I want it to go left. I just turn it like that, So, for me, it's about, a lot of it is largely just being capable. It's just being capable. It's like you're on the journey of life itself. You have this body as the vessel in which you move, and I want to be capable within it, and I want to respect it. I want to respect such a marvelous fucking creation. From, if you just believe in God or you believe in whatever the fuck you believe in, it's still, regardless, it's still a marvelous piece of equipment, which is the body and your mind. And I want to be maximizing its potential at any given moment. And I want to make sure that I'm respecting it, and that respect leads itself. It's just, it's an act of humility, and it's your duty to be in the best shape you can be, and just being healthy, man. It's your duty, and you pay the price if you don't. You definitely pay the price if you don't. So yeah, and then obviously, it lends itself to self-discovery, because for us, I mean, physical exercise is a great modality, or it's a great mode to lead. It's a great way of understanding. It's a great way to understand yourself more. So there's another aspect of physical exercise. Not just being capable. Well, it is being capable, because the more you understand about yourself, the more capable you will be. I mean, we all have this mind, which is largely burdenous, and if you don't learn to liberate yourself from it, it can become quite challenging. I don't mean liberate yourself from it, like free yourself completely, because with no mind, I mean, you wouldn't exist. You wouldn't be living. Maybe you'd be some entity floating up in space or something. But a large part of our human suffering, unless you were born into suffering, which we already are in a kind of way, but I mean, in your physical circumstances, like being a refugee, being from a war-torn country, living in dire fucking circumstances, our mind is one of the biggest burdens you ever face. And physical exercise is a great way to liberate yourself from the trappings of it. At least for me, it has been. And for a lot of people, it does, man. I mean, that's why they do it. I mean, that's why a lot of people do it. Mr. Glucose, how about we do a video chat with all of us? Now that would be a good time. What do you mean? You mean individually? Shout out to you, Louis V. That sounds like a brutal ride. Do you train with fitter athletes? And I find it harder and harder to find fitter here when I can learn from wiser people. I don't really train with anyone, bro. I don't really train with anyone. I got friends who ride bikes that I do ride with. And we do train together, but just with the riding that I like to do, I don't like to... It has no real benefit to be riding with someone. And to be fair, at least to me, having someone in front of me, I don't feel a strong desire to beat them. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel that. Maybe, a few years ago I did. But not anymore. I don't really care. I'm very happy to get dropped. It doesn't concern me anymore. So I don't really find any benefit. It's not like I'm doing, and I don't do any racing that involves a group, being skilled within a group. So it really doesn't prove any benefit to me to be riding with anyone. And I know that, riding with faster people, obviously, if you're trying to keep up, you have to ride quick. And sometimes you have to ride beyond your abilities at the time, or what you believe your abilities are. And that can serve great benefits. But for me, I just can't be fucked, man. I know that I like to do shit solo, man. And I know that the carryover is huge. And I know that when I'm doing some of the most important shit, it's with nobody. It's with nobody. Even if you think it's with somebody, it's with nobody. It's this illusion of separation that dies within yourself, and then you just realize that you're competing against yourself the whole time. And then you don't really seek out the competition because you realize that you're just always in competition with yourself, even if it's seemingly, there's actual another person there or not. So I don't really like to, man, train with other people. I don't feel the same benefit. You get the same benefit, but I just like that element of being solo, being focused solo, and that's really why I do it. What does the sign mean on the t-shirt? It means Rice in Chinese. Shouts to you. Link in the description, bro. Pure Blonde 23. Oh, thank you so much for coming down to Gorge Road. I had to remember which one was Gorge Road. I really appreciate it. It really did make my day. That was like some of the first. You were like one of the first people I saw in a long time. So it really did make my day. When I come back to Adelaide, I mean, hopefully you know about it and we can go for a ride. I don't know when I'm going to come back. Are you competing with yourself? Of course you're competing with yourself. You're always competing with yourself. It's always been a competition of yourself, man. Whether or not you realize that yet, it's always been a you versus you, When I did a 20-mile hike from the top of the Grand Canyon to the bottom and then back to the top in one day alone, it did no problem. Recently I did it in a group and that shit was brutal. Obviously that's going to depend on the pace, but if the pace of the group was the same as the pace as it was solo, then, I mean, it just speaks to doing it solo, doesn't it? Like, I find it better just because this, seemingly it's just easier to focus on yourself and there's just less distractions going on. Like, even having a person next to you breathing can be fucking annoying. Yeah, perfect progression. That's a great comment. I mean, I think it's okay if you want to train with people, but if you find that you train with people and there's a huge difference between you training by yourself and you training with people, that's an issue. That's a fucking issue. So only you really know what the prescription should be. Like, if you go from being a phenomenal rider when you're with somebody to being a fucking terrible rider relative in those two performances, well, there's a problem there. You shouldn't really need anyone to get moving. Especially if you're trying to make exercise a long-term protocol. If you're trying to make training and physical fitness and this self-improvement through training something that you want to do long-term, I mean, it has to be something you can do by yourself, because there's not always going to be somebody to hold your hand, and it goes down to the deepest level. There's always an end. Everyone, it's always going to be you. That's what I'm trying to say, and you have to learn how to use that, which is just use yourself to do what you need to do. and not rely on certainly anything and other people. What's my demographic split between riders and lifters now? You know, I got no idea. I don't really check it. Is it possible for your mental state to be hindered by your environment, e.g. being hindered when you're back at home? Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, it is. But I mean, like, ultimately, environmental factors obviously they do play an impact on your mental state. But at the core of it, dude, you know, your brain's within your skull, and so that's its home. And you're always in control of that, regardless of where you are geographically and what those circumstances are. So you're always in control of that. You know, obviously there's environments that you find yourself in that lend themselves to a more peaceful state of mind. You know, and there's environments that are the opposite to that. But ultimately, you're in control, and that's something you have to fortify and develop and cultivate over time. But also, dude, you find that, you know, I don't really find myself in situations anymore where I have to deal with this type of shit. Like, I don't go to work just to earn money in a job I don't fucking like, and then I have to. There's only so much, you know, suffering I'm willing to take for the sake of it. Like, just because I can have a strong mindset doesn't mean I'm going to put myself in the absolute shittest fucking situation just to earn $180 a day or $100 a day. I'm not going to do that. I don't care. It's not worth it to me. There's plenty of other things I could do and it'd be, you know, easier on myself. And there's no shame in that. You shouldn't be trying to find the most difficult fucking... You get over this situation where it's like, if something's just obviously having a negative effect on you and you're wasting energy just trying to stay strong, it's just not worth it no more. Now, I know that's a bit off topic from what I was saying before, how you're always in control. But I think what I was trying to get at is just like, if you find yourself in these, you shouldn't be in these situations that often, bro. Like, evacuate yourself from the situation. You shouldn't always be in situations that you're finding are extremely challenging. Now, if just daily life is becoming challenging for you, that's something you need to work on. But there's a difference between that and then being in some underground pit for 8 hours a day with no fucking lights, you know, shoveling shit to earn a bit of cash. Shout out to you, Alyssa, and have a great day. Good to see you, Stefan. I hope you're well. I'm doing phenomenal. Shout out to you, brother. I miss you. Can you use the mind? Can you use the mind to rationally defeat fear, or does fear tap into sort of deeper? They cannot be into something deeper that cannot be rationalized. You know, fear is an interesting topic, and I'm the first cunt to tell you that it's something I work on all the time, because I do find myself sometimes overwhelmingly scared, and it's something I think that we all face is fear, and fear really, you know. Fear to me is really, once it gets into your mind, it really corrupts everything. And you know, and fear really strips me of my love. I really lose my love and appreciation when this fear creeps in, and when I have a strong, when my heart's full of love, I don't feel the trappings of fear no more. You know, so when I'm feeling extremely scared, I try to get to something more pure and try and get out of my head and try and think of something and try and get back to that place of love that really, you know, is something magical, dude. You know, and love is the fear killer. You know, but as to I think rationally, I mean, it's a hard question to answer, because it's like 9 times out of 10. This fear comes out of your mind, you know what I mean? I don't think it has a real... Like, it's an illusion, you know what I mean? To me, the fear is an illusion. And 9 times out of 10, it stems from... At least for me, it's always stemmed from just unknown. It always stems from unknown. And and the fear of the unknown. I mean, that's fear of the unknown, or always becoming full of fear in unknown situations, you know. But that really, you know, goes to the wayside when you're coming at every situation with a whole heart and full of love, which is hard to do sometimes. But you know, I think, you know, this debilitating nature of fear of the unknown it strikes the core of all of us, really, because it really starts at the most core level of being a human being, doesn't it? Like, at least when I think about it, it's like, if you never really truly become comfortable with the origins of human nature, I mean, you always have fear within yourself, because you always have this fear of the unknown, because, you know, humans are unknown. Like, we're a relatively unknown thing, you know, and that's scary. You know, we're all born into this situation. No one knows where we come from. No one knows where we're going, and that's our unknown. As our unknown on a big scale, you know, is that we don't know. We don't really know shit, and that is quite a scary thing, you know. And I think until you become comfortable with the fact that there's so much unknown surrounds your existence at the core level, I think until you become really comfortable with that idea, and it doesn't really debilitate you, then you find that in just daily situations that you're not really trapped by the fear no more. Because you're like, why would I be scared of this situation when I'm not scared of the unknown that governs my life at the base level, you know? So not understanding how something will work out in a job situation, or not understanding how something will work out in a relationship situation doesn't really scare you, because you're just like, dude, I don't even know where I'm fucking from. I don't even know where I'm fucking going on the fucking big scale. On the big fucking scale. Like, am I scared about the comments on this video? Why the fuck would I be scared of that, dude? I mean, I'm a human being on a fucking whatever, on fucking planet Earth, who doesn't know where he came from, only has ideas about it, and doesn't know where he's going, only has ideas and beliefs about it, but really no solid grasp on on actually what's taking place. And, you know, like, so everything kind of falls to the wayside of that. Matt Rake, you know, I have no idea what to tell you, brother. I mean, other than, you know, if something feels right, do it. And only really you know what that is. So, you know, it'd be easy for me to say, yeah, go move in your car and go do all these hikes and climbs and shit. And it sounds like a cool fucking idea. But, you know, only you know if it's the right thing to do. I completely agree, Matthew Hoddle. Matayo Hoddle. Shouts to you, brother. You know, so it's an interesting life, I should say, man. It's an interesting experience to be a human being. And really, it really isn't no joke of a situation. It's really no joke. It's no joke of a situation to be in, you know. Yeah, Robin, you know, I haven't, you know, my duty to YouTube is just to, I don't know what it really is, do you know what I mean? But I like talking, I like expressing ideas, I like when other people get something out of those ideas, I like expressing whatever I want to fucking express, you know what I mean? And if that helps someone, that's all, you know, what else left is there for me to do? You know, that's my tribute to mankind. The problem is the message isn't that sexy, man, now, and not many people want to get, and I don't know, man, it's a hard, to excel at YouTube is a hard but easy thing. I mean, easy in the sense that there's a formula to it, but hard in the sense that there's trade-offs that you need to make now to really excel. And it's more so a product of my own work in terms of sometimes I'm just not willing to make that trade-off, and that's why you don't see it, you know. Shout out to you, Cam VW93. Good to see you, bro. How much importance is sleep on training in a mood? I mean, sleep's fucking critical. Sleep is critical, extremely critical. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you that you can still get by on fuck off sleep and excel and improve. But it's a dogfight. It's a dogfight. Luckily, you're a tough individual, and you can hold on through some pretty dire situations and make the best of it. But I mean, if you want to function optimally and not invoke unnecessary levels of suffering on yourself, I mean, try and get the best sleep you can. I mean, sometimes you can't sleep, and they're for reasons that you need to work out, and they're important. That's why you can't sleep. Oftentimes when something's not really right internally, and I'm not even talking about on a physical standpoint, like you're sick. I mean, like if you're suffering from some sort of lack of understanding or you feel troubled or you feel conflicted, I mean, sleep sometimes is the first thing to go. And that's the wake up. Literally, that is the wake up. There's no other stronger wake up call than not being able to fucking go to bed. And that's something you need to address. But I mean, in terms of just like not prioritizing sleep and just staying on your fucking phone all night, don't do that. It's hard work enough to become successful. Well, it really depends on what your version of success is, man. You know, that's what you got to really define, is what does success mean to you? You know, because I can think of equal situations on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of just like material success. Hard work isn't always enough, man. You know, but I mean, success, at least for my version of success and for a lot of people's versions of success, and something you come to terms with, is that if success is just feeling okay, feeling good, earning enough money to have a quality life where you're not fucking on the streets starving, when you have great interpersonal relationships, that's achievable by most people, man. And there's a reason it doesn't cost that much money to do. And it really doesn't have a big time requirement either. Like, to be able to afford enough to live, to be able to afford enough to have a house, to be able to afford, I mean, at least to rent a place, it's not that out of anybody's reach. So it would start with trying to understand what a success will mean to you. I mean, what successful meant to me like 8 years ago is completely different what it means to me now. And I'd almost be ashamed of my situation 8 years ago. If, you know, like if I first saw this, I'd be like, fuck, that's not successful. But it's completely different now, you know, so shouts to you. Social Spinner, pleasure to see you, brother. Shout out to you, JC. You know, I might leave it on the channel. I probably will leave it on the channel, man, because, you know, some people still watch it, you know, and who am I to take it down if some people still want to watch it? So I'll probably leave it up. Quick recap on what's been doing here. You know, Social Spinner, you know, it's the same old shit, man. I've been working, I've been doing equal parts working, relaxing. I've been doing equal parts eating, sleeping. You know, just standard, man. I'm getting back into riding this coming month, beginning training, as in start of next month, which is, you know, 5 or 6 days away. And that's really it. I mean, on the bike. Have I recovered from any pain? Yeah, I'm pretty much recovered. I'd say physically I'm recovered. I mean, I still got a few niggles in my calf. But my appetite's back to normal. I don't ever feel like I'm crazy hungry. A lot of that is just, you know, kind of time removed from from what took place, and also the fact that my body weight's gone significantly up and I'm eating significantly more. So the hunger's kind of gone. I still got a few physical niggles in my hamstrings and calf. My sleep quality is back to normal. I feel like I've calmed down a lot. So, I mean, psychologically, I'm still traumatized in the sense that, you know, I wouldn't be ready to go do another effort like that for a long period of time. But my desire to do just daily things is kind of back in full swing. Like my desire to go work, my desire to go for a walk, my desire to do anything physical is back to where it was before. Other than going out and doing a fucking 24-hour effort is, you know, that's going to take some time to revisit. But apart from that, it's pretty good, man. By the way, shouts to everybody who bought a shirt. I'm shipping these fuckers out today. I appreciate it. You know, last week, shouts to all of you. That's the key point. That is the key point. And I'm gonna go visit my favorite postman. I had this postman. You know, I was doing deliveries one night. He was drunk as fuck, and we just formed a relationship when he was drunk out the front of Lord of the Fries, and I'll never forget it. And he's the local postman. It's crazy. What a small world, you know. Like, I was like sitting there thinking, like, dude, you're the postman. Like, how can you be drunk at Lord of the Fries? Like, it was almost like seeing a teacher out for the first time. You think, oh my God, you're a normal human being. Like, I was like, dude, you're the postman. Like, I just always thought you were at home doing postal man type stuff. Now I see you drunk at the front of Lord of the Fries. It's like, it's crazy. What podcast do you listen to? And would you go on the of course I'd go on the Joey D podcast. I mean, I'm sure if I was in the UK, we would do it straight away. You know, bro, if I had the fucking funds, this is the shit. You know, this is the ultimate pinnacle of reality with money, for me at least. Like, if I had the funds, you know, motherfucker, I sell enough t-shirts, right? I don't really care anymore. I would fly to go see Joey D today. Today to do that podcast. That's how important to me the podcast is. I'd be there in a heartbeat. In literally, dude, if I had dispensable income, I would be there now. I would take the first flight. But shout out to Joey D, you know, I'm a big fan of Joey. I'm a fan of Friends, you know what I mean? So it's exciting to see him do his podcast. And I think podcasts are great, regardless of whether anything, because it's just expressing your ideas and your emotions. And the more you talk about your understanding of wherever you're at, it really cultivates and strengthens and challenges your own views on. Sometimes you think you know, and then you try and think about it, and you talk about it, and you're like, wow, I really don't know. And it promotes an essence of humility and the fact that you need to keep learning, and that you're always learning, and there's always more knowledge to understand. And that's great. Does something like the Indie Pack make normal life easier? Well, it depends what you mean easier. I mean, the experience, it becomes a critical part of your life, man, and really shapes what you see in the world. You know, and that's not some sort of mystical fucking thing. It's just, it is what it is. It's like, once you experience more shit, it becomes a part of this like expanding database within your own brain, and it shapes the way you see the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, you think you're a poor cunt until you go to India and you see what poor actually looks like. So now when you're in the situation in daily life and you think you're poor, you realize that you're not, and you don't see your situation as poverty no more. That's just one example of how the experience crafts your daily situation. Or the way you perceive the way you're perceiving your reality. So having that experience is just a part of it. Obviously, after, it's challenging to get back into the routine, and it comes at a physical cost. But the cost of what it takes to actually do an event like that is heavily outweighed by the reward. Extremely. The reward is the experience, you know? The reward is the experience. And the cost is just your action. That's the cost, man, is your action, your energy, whatever you want to call it. That's the currency in which we operate, is the energy. And the reward is that experience. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I do have training specifically planned for the next year, brother. I do. You know, I'm trying to get something happening, man, with this cycling shit. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm not going to hold it. I'm not going to hold it in the shadows. You know. You know, I'm trying to have a big year of cycling this year, and I don't like to project too much into the future, but I feel like I've stumbled along something that I feel like, well, it's something I need to go all in on. Even if it's just for a year or 2 years. I need to go really all in on it. Because I feel like I have a good opportunity to do well in it. I feel like I have a good opportunity to connect with the people with it. And they're the two main things, is the fact that, like, for whatever reason, people like seeing people do crazy shit. And then the other side of the coin is I actually feel like I'm actually decent at doing crazy shit. So it's something that I have no choice in. Like, it's the only option for me. You know, and see where it takes me. And I have a feeling it'll take me somewhere special, man. You never know where it could do. But I just have a feeling, I have an inkling that it could be something quite big. So I'm really trying to go all in on that for the next year. And then put it to the test. You know, what I saw on the Indie Pack was obviously the fruits and labor of my whole fucking life in terms of preparing, right? But in terms of just the physical preparation specifically for that event, it was really minimal. And it was confidence building for me to see. I know some people who aren't too big on the training, they'll see the training leading up to an event like that and think, oh, that's heaps of training, dude. You did X amount of rides. But really, this isn't something you can just lock yourself down for 3 months and prepare for and expect to do well. So that being what I did, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, I'm actually quite humbled by it. It actually worked out quite well. So I'm excited to see what a year of, you know, diligent, thoughtful training produces. And I think it's going to produce something that's going to blow your fucking head off. I think it's going to, and I think it's going to blow my head off. To be honest with you, I really think it's going to blow my mind in half. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's something I can't even conceive to be possible. Because I didn't even expect to do the Indie Pack like that, and I didn't think that would be possible. So I can only imagine what a year would produce. I'm very conflicted about what success is. Purely monetary success is the path I could take, but on the other hand, spiritual life success is an option. Finish college in 2 days, and well, I mean, money. You know, money obviously is a part of life, man. You know, like that's just the world we live in, man. You use money to buy things, and things that are really important. Like, you need money to buy food to eat to survive, and that's something you should be striving to have so you can fucking eat. Because we need to eat to live. I mean, but that being said, I mean, it can get out of balance, man. I mean, most of us are under the assumption that we have a void that needs to be filled, and you will probably embark on this journey. Not you, but most of us will embark on a journey where you try and fill the void that can't be filled because it doesn't fucking exist with money and fucking things, and you can never fill it because it's not actually there. And to only realize that there is no void, you have to have a deeper understanding about life other than expanding your bank account. So that's where, you know, quote unquote, your spirituality will come in. And they'll go hand in hand. Once you have that deep understanding, you're always going to make enough money to have a joyful, meaningful existence, you know? But if you never find that understanding and you always go perpetually through life trying to fill a void that doesn't actually fucking exist because you don't feel like you're somebody when you actually are already, nothing's ever going to be enough. Nothing's ever going to be enough. So shout outs to you. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So yeah. Mad, eh? What would you use that year for? Meaning, what would be the moment? I'm not going to tell you the exact moment I'll showcase it, but I have an idea of where I'll showcase. You know, I'll showcase it, and it'll be next year, which is really the blink of an eye. 1 year is a blink of a fucking eye. Literally. It's the blink of an eye. It almost feels like I've already transported 1 year just blinking my eye. So it'll come around quick, but it's next year, man. Shout out to you, 2B Rainbow. You know, I appreciate your questions, like, and your vulnerability asking the questions, because it takes a sense of, you know, you put yourself out there when you ask questions, especially questions that, you know, they're big questions, and a lot of people think they understand. I don't understand. I don't really know. I'm just giving you my thoughts and opinions on it. But to put yourself out there and ask a question like that, it takes some serious courage, and it just shows that you're on the right path, man, because you're not scared to ask a question that a lot of people think they know. Thank you, Timothy Stella. I appreciate it, brother. Any plans on making a cooking video with a build? You know, potentially when my girlfriend gets back. My girlfriend's overseas right now on a family holiday, so. Latina escort. Let me put this girl on. I'm a pretty Latina escort, dude. My God. Man, this chat's been going off today, eh? Opinion on Rob Lipset, you know, I've never met Rob Lipset. I've only watched a few of his videos. You know, I can't really comment, and there's nothing really to say. You know, I don't know Rob Lipset. I mean, it's easy for me to judge someone based on their YouTube videos, and I've done that before. But there's no real words to say, man. And I'm not trying to say that in a negative way, like, fuck this dude. But I'm just being honest, like, there's just no words to say, and that's not a negative thing or a positive thing, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, I haven't really experienced Rob Lipset, you know, like, so I can't really have a legitimate opinion on it. Quick check, the sizing for the shirt hasn't changed yet. About to grab one, medium was too small last time. Just go large, brother. I mean, you're a Melbourne lad. You know, if something happened, we'll just exchange it, you know what I mean? What YouTubers do I currently watch? You know, I'm a big, you know, to me, YouTube is kind of on the brink of just being the best platform, but also the shittest platform. I think conventional YouTube fitness has completely fucking died. It's morphed into some sort of weird hybrid fashion, cliche, cringe lifestyle with no actual meaningful value other than paid product placement, and it's just weird. I can't even watch it anymore. And I've got enough self-respect not to watch it, just to see a fucking train derail. Because who wants to see something so tragic? No one wants to see something that tragic, man. So I don't watch it. I just go to the homepage, man. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of training stuff. Like, I watch all sorts of shit, man. I watch what ultra runners do. I watch what triathlon people do. You know, like, I watch what the limitations of the human eye is. You know, like, anything that puzzles me, I'll watch it. You know, am I going to watch mind, you know, dulling fucking content where I'm like, oh, I wish I was a paid athlete that was like getting a fucking free trip to, oh, I was getting, you know, like, no. You know, I never watch anything that makes, like, just from my own standpoint, I would never watch anything that makes me feel inadequate, man. And that's quite easy to do, man. Not easy, but I mean, like, it can be very easily to find yourself stuck in a hole when all you do is watch stuff that you vicariously live through and think, that's where I need to be. I'll never do that. I only watch shit that makes me feel like I'm at the fucking apex of it. I'm at the apex of it. And it makes me feel things, man. You know, because what you watch has a huge impact on you. It has a huge impact on you. And you have to be conscious of that. Are you gay? No. Matt M90, pleasure to see you. Are you fully injured? Yeah, I'm fully recovered, bro. I'm fully recovered. I mean, mentally, obviously, there's still a bit of recovery I need to do. I mean, in terms of just like, I mean, more so specifically to the riding itself. Like, if you wanted me to go out and do that race again, I'd say fuck no. Even though I would do it again, but I mean, in the near future, no way. But apart from that, I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. Which has been a pretty quick turnaround. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be able to produce the same level of output now for quite some time, but just to feel like have, you know, back to a decent quality of life. Like, I mean, it's a pretty quick turnaround. No, I haven't. I haven't seen that podcast, man. Would I get into any bike racing again? Yeah, I would. I'm not going to say when, but I would. How did I start dating Jess? I mean, it was just an evolutionary process, man. Like, I didn't just say, like, we're dating. It wasn't like something like that. I mean, you just hang, you know, you just like a relationship, dude. You just hang out with the girl hangs out with you. You just fall in love, like. You know, that's just what happens. Yeah. I can't really pinpoint it, man. Like, are we going to see any Abdullah version products in the near future? Right now, I got the t-shirts, right? I got the t-shirts. And I still got like a lot of t-shirts to go through. So I'm trying to get rid of those t-shirts first. Once I get rid of the t-shirts, then I will embark on some new things. It's just a fun little thing to do, you know what I mean? Like, it's just mad seeing dudes wear your t-shirt. You know, I've actually seen dudes wear my t-shirt like randomly on the street, and it's just the most bizarre like concept. Like, it's not like they know you're coming to see them. It's just like you're just walking through the mall and you see someone in your t-shirt, you just think, what the, like, how is that even possible, you know? How can I order a t-shirt? The link should be in the description, man. It's just a Shopify. I'm sending all of the ones that get ordered out in the last week today. Today's the day I ship them. You know, I make the trip down to the post office. So if you want it shipped out with dispatch, you got to get it today. It's in the link description. Am I going to pop the question? Okay, wait. Not sure if you've covered this, but will you make vids again? I miss them, especially the sounds of MC Hot Dog. Yeah, I will, bro. I mean, I was just in tunnel vision focus for that indie pack thing, so it was kind of not my priority for a long time. But, you know, I will. I will. You should watch Joe Rogan about the science of sleep and other things to do with the brain. At 7 minutes, they talk about something you said you experienced dreaming while awake. I mean, that's mad. You know, I will watch that because I'm a fan of sleep science, and I just think it's fascinating how you can go to bed and something happens to your consciousness that we have no idea. You know, like, just where do you go when you sleep? It's phenomenal. Am I going to pop the question? You know, like, it's not something I really think about, man. Like, I approach my relationship as a long-term thing anyway. Like, well, I don't even really approach it long-term. I mean, you just approach it like anything else. I mean, just take it as it comes, I guess. Like, so I haven't really thought about it. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you. But I don't think much would change, because it's like, what is marriage? If marriage is just a commitment thing or a sign of commitment, I'm already committed, you know? Am I coming to America this year? I'm potentially coming to America at the start of next year. You know, I would come to America this year randomly if something popped up and I could get there, and it was feasible. But more than likely, I'll be there next year, at the start of next year, for quite some time. For quite some time too, which is exciting. Greetings from Oklahoma, you should do RAM. I know RAM. I don't know too much about it, but it sounds interesting. Thoughts on Trump? You know, I don't really get in. You know, I don't really know too much about Trump. Like, I think it's crazy how that dude's president, but, you know, I don't really get into the politics too hard, man. I mean, if you're from America, you could probably inform me about Trump more than I could inform you. Are you back on the Uber Eats? Yeah, I'm back on the Uber Eats, bro. I haven't been doing that. You know, I've been doing in between part-time and full-time amount of Uber Eats. But it's been good, man. Like, it's been quite busy. The weather's still kind of good, you know, so the weather's still kind of good, so it's not as busy as it will be when it becomes like bone-chilling cold here in Melbourne, which it does at nighttime. It'll be fucking busy, man. And that's when you got to pounce, you know? It's also the most challenging time to work just because it's so cold, but... Like, yesterday was really busy, but yesterday was a public holiday, but it was extremely busy. I only worked 5 hours yesterday. It was busy, man. Like, busy, like, non-stop. And that's all you can, like... That's all you can wish for when you do Uber Eats, is that when it's non-stop like that, bruh, it's like, if someone gave me a choice and was like, dude, could you do this for the rest of your life when it's non-stop? Of course I could. And it's an amazing job when it's non-stop. You know, like, this is just like, dude, I'm just getting paid and I'm just riding my bike around the city. Like, you can listen to music, you can not listen to music, you can just cruise. Like, there's always shit you see that you've never seen before. You're giving food to people. Like, it's quite glorious. Big up. Do your shirts ship to the UK? Yeah, the shirts do ship to they ship worldwide, bro. Now, the policy with the shirts is, I'm shipping them out today. They usually take about a week. So I'm shipping out everything that's ordered until after this stream. I check my email. They're getting shipped out today. Now, God forbid something happens to the mailing system, which has happened before. You just email me straight away. And then I just will keep perpetually sending you t-shirts until one fucking makes it to your house. But they usually 98% of the time they do rock up, of course. But it's guaranteed rock up, man. Guaranteed delivery, no matter where you are in the world. Unless you live in some like hilltop location in the Himalayas, which is kind of, maybe then you'd have to email me and I would do some sort of, you know, FedEx thing. RAM is supported, yeah. I don't like the supported thing, man. I don't like the supported thing because I feel like, I don't know, I think half the fun is the fact that you've got to juggle, is this like kind of element where it's like you have to juggle everything. Shouts to you, V Gandan. I appreciate it. Oh, V Gang Dan. Shouts to you, brother. I kind of like the element where it's like unsupported. I think that's interesting. Would you ever get into Everest? Yeah, I would love to climb Mount Everest. The unsupported nature is just a whole nother element, you know, and I think, you know, the translation of the benefit to daily life from these bike rides is the fact that, you know, you're more fearless, and I think a lot of that fear kind of dies in a bike ride like this if you know that someone's behind you in a fucking truck or someone's around you with water. Like, you kind of miss that obstacle that you would get to overcome, which is being in the middle of nowhere, with nobody, with no support, with no cell service, with 500 mils of water, and thinking, how the fuck am I going to be able to do this? I think that's really the funnest bit, is to liberate yourself of the fear and just go, fuck it. Let's go. You know? So I would never want that to go away just because I know somebody's behind me with water. I know somebody's there. And that's why I love the idea of not supported. Because ultimately it's always you just supporting it's always you anyway. So I think it lends itself just to daily life more. And that's something I'm excited to explore more, to be honest with you. There's more of the unsupported stuff. Problem is, it just takes so long to get ready, you know, like. But like I said, you know, next month we'll start training. And once you start training, there's no turning back, man. I mean, it's just, once you start the commitment, once you're committed and you start, I mean, it's just the start of the journey, it's fucked. In a good way, but like you gotta go all in. It's a beautiful thing. Sorry. I've heard of the Tour Divide, but I thought the Tour Divide was a mountain biking thing, bro. I don't do mountain biking, man. Let me know if I'm wrong, but if it is mountain biking, I can't do it. You know, like, that's like a whole nother machine that I just know, I don't know much about, you know, like, a road bike's enough, you know. Changing the tires and all that, just learning a road bike, like, you know, things on a road bike I still don't even know. Like, if you ask me to say where the bottom bracket is, like, that's something I've only learned, you know. So, you know, I used to think, I don't even know, man, I used to think the bottom bracket was that, like, I'm not even tell you what I used to think the bottom bracket was, because you probably wouldn't even believe me if I told you. So there's still yet a lot to learn about a road bike and all the things that come along with it. Let's keep the question going for a little bit longer. Tour Divide MTB. Yeah, that's what I thought, man. We'll leave that for somebody else. We'll leave that for somebody else, for sure. My thoughts on swimming, like, shout outs to you if you swim. Like, I'm not a good swimmer, but I love swimming. Like, I think it's mad. Yeah, you know, Foodora in Sweden had the happiest, least worrisome time. True. Yeah, I can completely agree with you, and I completely agree with you. It's just amazing delivering food. You know, like, it's amazing delivering food, and it's serious game, dude. Like, feeding people is no joke. Like, it's like a noble task. You know, you're feeding people. I mean, they need that shit to survive. I mean, you're not selling them something unnecessary. I mean, you're not giving them something unnecessary. You can debate whether or not they should be ordering Uber in the first place, but delivering food to me is quite noble, man. What snacks do I eat? I don't really snack, brother. Like, if I think about throughout the day, I don't really snack. You know, I have just meals. I have meals. You know, like, if I'm going to pick something up when I'm out, like, dude, I'm a fan. I'll drink, like, tea or something. Flavored tea. Or an apple, or... I mean, I think that's how I save more money than what I would if I was snacking throughout the day, is that they're just meals, you know, and that's how I like it. I don't like to just be grazing and shit, like, unless I'm hungry like that. But for me, not really. I get hungry usually at the same times, probably just because hunger's a trainable thing, and you get hungry at the same times when you do that for a long period of time anyway. So, breakfast, you know, lately I've been having breakfast even before I train. You know, I used to train a lot more fasted, but, you know, after the Indy Pack, see, it's just a habit thing. After the Indy Pack, I was so hungry I wouldn't do that, so I eat my breakfast. I have like a meal after I finish work, and then I just have well, not really a snack. Like last night I had some yogurt, protein powder, and berries. That's still a meal. I mean, a snack, the amount of calories in that's a meal, so probably 3 meals. You know, coming up, sometimes I have 2 meals. Shit, I've done it before. If I'm working a lot, I do 1 meal, which is, it's crazy, but, you know, it is what it is. Do you think there might actually be more chance of someone quitting while riding the Indy Pack route across Australia but not actually taking part in the Indy Pack? The Daya product is definitely the cheddar cheese, man. Definitely the cheddar cheese, dude. It's fucking phenomenal product, man. I wish I was sponsored by Daya, dude. Like, I could go through a pack a day easily. I would adjust my diet to account for a pack a day. Do you think there might actually be more chances of someone quitting while running in the Indy Pack route across Australia but not actually taking part in the Indy Pack? Are you saying that, like, do you think it's more likely for someone to quit if they were doing the route but not actually in the event or non-official event versus if they were in the non-official event or the event itself? Clarify. I think that's what you're saying, though. Oh, okay. Well, it depends on the person, man. It depends on the person, and It depends largely on what their intentions are for the race and why they're doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it depends on the person, and then that it's going to be different. Like I mean, the event's cool, man. The event's cool, and it has a kind of sex appeal to it. Being a part of an event, you know, there's a sex appeal to that. But let me tell you, man, the most, it doesn't mean anything. Like it's not something that gets you through. At least for me, it's not something that gets you through. And I think if it is something that you're really relying on, if you're just purely doing it for the sex appeal, you won't last, or you'll come fucking at the end. You'll be at the end, and what you'll do is you'll form a pack of which there's nothing wrong with that, but it won't be how you expected it to be. I think a lot of people do or just anything, man, for the sex appeal, and then when they're in there, their expectation doesn't meet their reality, and they completely shift on what their intentions were at the start to you know, accommodate what they're experiencing. So some people think it's going to be a fucking race, and they're going to be at the front, they're going to get their photo taken, and they're really just doing it for that. And then when they get in there and it's completely different, I mean, the reality of the situation is completely different to that, and they adjust. And instead of really pushing themselves and going for broke, which they really can do, and they're capable of doing it, they just make their way out the back and embark on the group ride, which is nothing wrong with that. But some people, that's what they do from the start, and that's what they want to do, and they just want to have a great time, and that's fine. All power to you. That's amazing. Still one of the most challenging things you'll probably ever fucking do, physically. But long story short, that's not something that gets you through, man. Like in your most challenging of moments, well, I'm looking at my face and it's frozen.